Hello, my awesome project managers. How you doing today? It's time once again to talk about earned value management. It gets better with time, right? I've got so many videos out there, but as the exam begins to morph and change, I hear more and more things from students and on social media. So I try to make it very clear. The bottom line is this. You have four metrics: cost performance index, cost variance, schedule performance index, and schedule variance. So your metrics revolve around cost, all right? These two are cost, and this is schedule, just like this one, right? Now, the only difference is that the cost performance index has to do with indices, right? An index. The schedule performance index has to do with an index, which means there's no currency. It's just a number like 1.2 or 0.5 or 0.8, things like that. On the flip side, when it comes to the variance related metrics, the cost variance is a number. So it could be a minus $10, or it could be a minus $10,000, or it could be a plus $5 or a plus $50 and so on. Schedule variance, same thing. It's a dollar amount. So it could be a plus 100, it could be a minus 2, and things like that. For your exam, you need to be able to interpret what the numbers mean. That is the main thing. Don't go crazy on the formulas, because I have learned from a number of folks that is not very paramount anymore. And I've also heard that the graphs, they don't even really appear anymore. They used to, not anymore. So even though I teach it still, you probably will not get a graphical question on earned value. But as people say, you just hope you won't. Who knows? So this is what I want us to do today. If I tell you the schedule performance index is equal to 0.6, this means you are only 60% efficient schedule-wise. What does that mean? That means if you are going to get something done on your project in a day, you promise, I'm going to get all of this stuff done. When all is said and done, you would only get 60% of the scheduled work done. So if you planned to get 100 blocks moved, at the end of the day, you only got 60 blocks moved. You understand? So think about it. If I planned to get 100 things done, right, within a time box, that's the key thing. We're dealing with a time box. Okay, let's say it's a one-day time box. I said I would get 100 done, but when all was said and done, I only got 60 done. See, you're only 60 out of 100 in terms of the time box, what you said you would do within the time box. Let me give you another example. SPI of 0.8. What this means is, for example, if on a project I said I would dig 10 trenches in, let's say, 5 days, but at the end of 5 days, I had only dug 8 trenches, 8 out of 10 within the time box. That's what the SPI means. So the SPI, when you boil it down, is really looking at the work done divided by the work that you scheduled. See it? How many did I do? 8. How many did I schedule? 10. SPI is 0.8. How many story points did I say I would get done? I said I would get 150 story points done for my team, with my team. How many did I actually get done? I only got 75 story points. This is what I did. This is what I planned. You get it? And that's the schedule performance index. But they're not really going to ask you a lot of calculations. They're just going to give you numbers on the exam. What about cost performance index? What does this mean? Cost performance index is the earned value divided by the actual cost. It's how much you did versus how much you spent. As far as the schedule variance, in my example, let's say you had the earned value, because that's what it is, right? Let's say the earned value was 8 and the planned value was 10. Then in this case, you can see you got a negative, you got minus $2. That means you are behind schedule, right? That's what that means. Okay, let's go to cost variance. In the cost variance example, cost variance is earned value minus actual cost. If your earned value, again, let's say it's $8 and your actual cost is $12, your cost variance is minus $4. See that? That means you are $4 over budget. So you got to be specific with the over budget, behind schedule, under budget, ahead of schedule, whole mantra, right? So just remember, if you are late, you are behind schedule, right? If you're early, you are ahead of schedule, right? Also remember, in terms of budget, if you have spent more, right, you're over budget in the hole, as they say. This is a bad situation. Or you could be under budget, which is not a bad situation, right? Under budget could be looked at as a good or favorable situation, depending, right? But the PMI isn't going into the minutia of how much over budget or under budget are you. You're over budget, you're over budget. You're under budget, you're under budget. So let me give you a few very quick questions. So if your SPI is 0.75, you tell me, is this good or bad? You tell me. If your CPI is 1.14, you tell me, is it good or bad and what it means? If your schedule variance is minus $700, you tell me what that means. And if your cost variance is $6.50, you tell me what that means. All right, if you need more time, hit the pause button, and I'm going to explain these, and we're going to wrap this up. Okay, so this is what it means. For the very first one, this is bad, right? Poor performance. And what this means is you're only getting 75% of the work scheduled. 75% of the work scheduled was done. No boss is going to smile at you with that one because you're late. You're not necessarily over budget at this point. We don't know that. But what we do know from an SPI is in terms of schedule. So you are behind schedule. That's really what it means, right? So you are behind schedule. What about CPI of 1.14? This means you are ahead of schedule, right? It's a favorable situation. And that means you got $1.14 work done for $1. That is not bad, is it? It's not bad. However, if you work for certain bosses, they would say, how did you get so much done for $1? What did you do in your estimate? Did you pad? Did you tell us it will cost more when you really knew it would cost less? So you got to be careful in the real world, especially working with government. If you look too good, you're going to be in trouble. They're going to rattle your chain a little bit. All right. Schedule variance minus 700. When we have a negative number, anything under 0 is bad, right? So equal to 0 is right on target for the variances. Less than 0 is bad. Greater than 0 is good. So this is behind schedule. Anything negative is bad. So you got to get your convention straight. Even though it's negative, you're not ahead. You are behind schedule in this case. In fact, this one is a little bit easier than the cost one of variances. So a negative is bad. You're behind schedule. So this, I'll just say, is unfavorable. That's the language. Unfavorable. You are late. You are late. And we could just say there is $700 of work outstanding for you. That is not a good thing. All right, so it's unfavorable. All right, let's take a look at the final one. Final one is cost variance. You got a cost variance of $6.50. So this is good. You are under budget. Okay. And that's the story pretty much about earned value management. I'm hoping that these examples are going to help you, because I know some folks, they are studying a lot of earned value, too much earned value. I don't want you to study earned value needlessly. I want you to study it just enough to understand what the exam could be like. But I definitely don't want you doing it ad nauseum, because the law of diminishing returns could kick in. You know, there's only so much earned value you should study for the exam before it becomes redundant. So let me show you in closing, I'll show you the summary here, what you should do before your test. Let's go here. And this is really a shout out to one of our friends, Vicky, who just joined the Praizion honorary group on YouTube. If you look in our videos, you'll always see a button that says join. You can join, and then you can ask when you've joined for videos of whatever you are stuck on, and we always give you preference because you're one of our honorary members on YouTube. So right here, we can see what SPI, CPI, SV, and CV numbers should be thought of as. We can see if you're less than 1 on the far right of the screen. I'm just going to put a box around it. If you're greater than 1, you're ahead, less than 1 behind, equal to 1 on target. See, same thing with these, under budget, over budget, on target. So if you get these conventions straight, what it means when you have a SPI, CPI, CV, SV less than 1, greater than 1, zeros for the variances. So the variances are all about the 0, right? Because they're variances. The indices are all about the 1, okay? Highly advise you take a screenshot of what I'm showing you on the screen right now, okay? And then also do this little exercise, okay? Do this little exercise, okay? As I go through them one by one, take a second and hit the pause button. Good, bad, or something else. Good, bad, or something else. Hit the pause button, train yourself on this stuff. Good, bad, or something else. Good, bad, or something else. Good, bad, or something else. That one is suspicious. That means you're 3 times as efficient as you said you would. There could be a problem. Okay. All right. Now the exam won't go that far, like I did just now, challenging. What does it mean? Maybe, you know, that kind of questioning your high SPI. It may not be like that on the test. I think it's going to be a lot easier. A lot easier. All right. Here we go. Good, bad, or something else. Good, bad, or something else. What do you think? Good. What about this? Highly suspicious. What about this? All right, my friends, that is it for earned value management. That is as far as I'm going to go. I think adding anything else, doing anything more than this is just a waste of time. My last students who got certified, I believe I spent maybe 15 minutes with them on earned value. They've forgotten their PMPs now. They've forgotten their PMPs. So that's all for today, my friends. I hope this helped. Vicky, I hope this helps you. Don't sweat the graphs, okay? I know there's graph training here on YouTube. Don't sweat the graphs. Focus on what I've trained you on today. You'll be good. Okay? Hello, my friends. I heard from some of you that you're struggling with chapter 19 in the PMP exam immersion book. I wanted to clarify that a lot of the formulas that you find in cost management are not on the exam as they were before. So first of all, take a chill pill. I want you to know that all those formulas, the BAC, EAC, and all that stuff, you don't need to cram them. Now, there are 4 core formulas that I would recommend that you know, and this is not even promising that you find them on the exam, right? There are people who have taken the exam and have not had a single earned value question. And I'm not saying that's going to be your case, but I'm going to show you how to internalize the content. Okay, so the first formula has a mnemonic, which is children eat apples. You could also say children eat a lot. The second mnemonic is also children eat apples. The first one is cost performance index. The second one is cost variance. E stands for earned value. Because the first one is an index, the mathematical function is division. Because it's an index, we divide. The second one is a variance. Because it's a variance, we subtract. So we have earned value minus actual cost. The third one is someone else's problem, or the month of September for sure, right? Again, earned value is the E. S is for schedule performance index, and S is also for schedule variance. If it's an index, we divide. If it's a variance, we subtract. And that's a quick way of you remembering, recalling, if you wanted to call it that, the 4 core earned value metrics. Let's very quickly go through a problem where we can address all of these variables, okay? All right. So, assuming you are painting a wall, if you're painting a wall that is made up of 4 quadrants, we could look at the problem like this. We are painting a wall and we've broken it down into 4 quadrants. 1, 2, 3, and 4. The idea is to understand the terminology used in earned value. One of the terms we use is the budget at completion, BAC. To give you an example, imagine each quadrant of this wall was budgeted to cost $10. What is the total budget for this project? $40, right? That's your budget at completion. Budget at completion is just the amount that you would spend at the end of the project that you're budgeting right now. Project hasn't started, it's just a budget. Now, the $10 that you see on the different days, these are known as the planned value. Planned value. Planned value is different for each time period in some projects. In this case, it's the same for all the days. So we could say the planned value for day 1, for example, is $10. The planned value for day 2, same thing. And the same for day 3, and the same for day 4. What can we say from here? We can say that if you add up all the planned values across the project time period, right? If you add up all the planned value across the project time period, you're going to get the BAC. So the budget at completion is your cumulative planned value, so to speak, okay? With that said, let's take a look at a problem. So in this example, the idea is to spend $40 and to do what? To paint the entire wall. Now, every step of the way, you can check how well you're performing in terms of schedule and cost when you're using earned value. Most problems will give you the EV, the AC, and PV, or something close, and ask you to solve the problem. In this case, I'm going to say, since we know our planned value for day 1 is 10, imagine on this project, we're supposed to paint this panel on day 1. But if we didn't paint all the panel and we painted 3/4 of the panel, how much work have you done? 3/4, right? 3/4. What is 3/4? It's 75%. What is 75% of $10? $7.50. This means that our earned value, what we actually did, earned value is the percent of the work done times the planned value for that time period, right? So if you do that, you're going to end up getting $7.50 for the earned value. From here, you can calculate your SPI. SPI is 750 divided by 10, and that's 0.75. That's how you would calculate the SPI. As far as the SV, it will just be 750. Schedule variance is earned value minus planned value, and that will be a negative $2.50. Bear in mind, the dollar sign for variance, the index is just a number. Okay, keep that in mind. And there you have it. Now you just did a problem on schedule variance. Now, if you wanted to solve a problem along the lines of the cost performance index, you would do something similar. See if we can get rid of all this. So now you've done a problem with the SV. Actually, let me just move it to the side. I keep forgetting Zoom has changed. Okay. Let's solve a problem with the CPI. Oops, something strange going on. I think I have selected the wrong thing. Okay. Cost performance index is earned value divided by actual cost. So in this problem that I was just showing you, we actually don't have an actual cost given. So in the question, let's assume I made one up and said, the actual cost at the end of day 1 is $12, right? Because they would have to give you the actual cost for you to be able to solve sensibly. So if we know that our actual cost is $10, then our cost performance index is earned value divided by actual cost. We just calculated the earned value as 750. So we're going to have 750. Oh, I'm sorry. The actual cost, I wanted it to be 12, not 10, just for variety's sake. So imagine the cost performance index will be calculated as 750 divided by $12. And that will give you the answer, whatever that comes to. Let me check it out. See. 750 divided by 12. And that's 0.625. Again, it's an index. Okay. I very much doubt you'll be getting a whole lot of earned value questions, but at least if you did, you got to understand how to apply the formula. Okay. All right, let's move this. And then the final one is your cost variance, and it's earned value minus actual cost. And that's just going to be 12. No, I beg your pardon. 750 minus 12. And that's going to be equal to a negative. So we're behind by, there's going to be a dollar sign for this, and it's minus 450. Okay. If you understood that problem, that is, in my mind, the gamut of possibilities. I wouldn't worry overtly about this. There are a lot of people that haven't had one single question on earned value. So I want you to put that in its proper perspective as you get ready for your test, all right? But I hope this gave you some clarity and some ideas that you can apply to your studying. If it's given you a whole lot of trouble, leave this topic and come back to it later, okay? For chapter 19, the most important thing is understanding the dynamics, the process of cost management. For cost management, we first of all plan cost management. How are we going to manage cost? Then we estimate the cost by finding out how much each activity will take. Then number 3, we determine budget. We add up all of the possible cost estimates to get our budget. And then 4, we control the costs. We make sure that there's no cost overruns. And if they are, then we do something to effectively counteract it. So plan cost management, estimate costs, determine budget, control costs. If you understand that dynamic, you're on your way to success, my friend. Final thing I'll say about this is we have the manage resources, I believe it is, when it comes to the resources. So for the resources, you need to understand it's a combination of human, equipment, material, supplies, facilities. But you don't have to cram this. What you do need to understand is when you're managing resources, you're dealing with team members under this knowledge area, and you're also dealing with equipment, material, and supplies, right? And for that reason, you got to understand the flow of the knowledge area. We first of all plan resource management. Then we estimate activity resources across all domains, human, equipment, material, supplies, right? Then we acquire the resources. That's the third thing. Then the fourth thing is we develop the team. Then we manage the team. And last but not least, this is used for the physical resources. We control resources. If you have understood the dynamics that I've gone over so far, you really shouldn't be sweating it, right? Maximum, watch the video. As far as the formulas, if you want to make notes for that, that's fine. But again, just don't overdo it. Put it in its proper perspective. You might want to do a search for Kristen Lessons Learned PMP that she had with Praizion, because she talks about this at length, how you should not try to cram, memorize, do all that stuff, because in the long run, it may not really help you. All right, I hope this was of benefit to you and helped you fine-tune your thoughts for the cost and resource areas. If you have any questions, let me know. Bye for now.